You are the child of your generation. And if you don't understand what's happening, you will quickly be swept away to the side. Before we talk about why we should build wealth as Muslims, we have to break two misconceptions. The first misconception is that the Prophet ﷺ was poor. Whoever says the Prophet ﷺ was poor, I challenge this person to bring me concrete evidence of this. The Prophet ﷺ was a noble man from a noble family, and he was wealthy, but he lived a simple life. He chose to live a simple life. It is not that he was poor, that he did not have the means, that he struggled. No, he chose to live a simple life even though he had access to wealth. The Prophet ﷺ owned land, he owned farmland. Part of this farmland was generating rent, income. Part of this farmland, he had given it as a waqf to generate income fi sabilillah, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ made investments. The Prophet ﷺ bought and sold, he traded. He entered into a mudaraba, partnership agreement with Khadija radiallahu anha before Islam. He learned to trade under the mentorship of his uncle Abu Talib. So this is somebody who's an experienced trader who travels to Syria in those days, to the Levant, to trade. He understood the ability to understand local cultures, prices, customs, products. He had all of this understanding. The moment he arrives in Medina, after building Masjid Quba, after building Masjid Quba, what is the first thing the Prophet ﷺ builds? One apartment for each of his wives. Property. He gave importance to these things. This is the first misconception. For us to think the Prophet ﷺ was a poor, financially illiterate person, this is a lie against the Messenger ﷺ. The second misconception, which is a really important one, which is very popular, which we have to destroy, is that poverty is piety. If somebody is poor, that means, mashallah, this person is righteous, going to Jannah. This is not the case. The Prophet ﷺ, he informs us that wealth is a test, absolutely. And he also informs us that the people who have less, they tend to be the people who are more conscious of Allah, because they have less material tests. They're able to focus on the worship of Allah, and they're able to give less importance to these things. That doesn't mean that if you take an average person who's poor, an average person who's rich, the poor person is 100% more righteous. Not necessarily. From the 10 people promised paradise, 8 or 9 of the 10 people promised paradise were business people, were traders, well-known traders, who were wealthy. They were affluent, they were not poor. The Prophet ﷺ said, نِعْمَ الْمَالِ الصَّالِحِ لِلرَّجُلِ الصَّالِحِ. How amazing it is for wealth to be given to a righteous person. It's a virtue. It's not a naqs. It's not a deficiency. It's a virtue. It's something that, it's not just that we can say, oh, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to be wealthy. Rather, it is virtuous and recommended and rewardable for you to be wealthy, but you got to go into it with the right intention. Why do we build wealth? The first, wealth is influence. How is wealth influence? We learn from the life of the Prophet ﷺ. When the Prophet ﷺ was in Mecca, the Muslims had nothing. And Allah was teaching them the values of belief and faith and conduct and patience. But when the Muslims moved to Medina, the Prophet ﷺ made many strategic financial decisions in order to build influence. He was intimately familiar with the trade routes between Ethiopia and the Levant. In fact, it is one of these trade routes where he intercepts a carriage which becomes the Battle of Badr. The Battle of Badr happens because the Meccans have sent a caravan to do business towards the Sham, towards the Syrian region. The Prophet ﷺ knows this, he knows the trade routes, he knows the business styles, he knows where they go, and he tries to intercept the caravan. This is an economic war. This is not a physical war. He's trying to intercept. He's very strategically choosing what to intercept. That turns out to become the Battle of Badr, the first full-fledged battle in the history of Islam. Wealth is influence. The Prophet ﷺ, why was he targeting this little caravan? Because he knows if he can target this caravan and affect their trade, he has influenced the people of Mecca, and he's weakened the people of Mecca. And he understood this very well, that wealth is influence. The second reason to build wealth is that wealth gives Muslims independence from being needy, from being weak, from being dependent on others. One day, one of the Prophet's companions came to him and he asked him, how much money should I give in charity from my inheritance? Should I give a half, a third, a quarter? Prophet ﷺ said, give a third maximum. وَالثُّلُثُ كَثِيرٌ. A third is a lot. And then he says something very interesting. لَأَن تَتْرُكَ أَوْلَادَكَ أَغْنِيَاءَ. For you to leave your children wealthy is better than for you to leave them as dependents, constantly asking people for money. Don't do that. Leave your children more wealthy than you are. This is the Prophet ﷺ teaching his companion, try to leave the next generation better off financially than your generation. Why? So they are independent. They don't have to ask. There's only two types of ways of making wealth. Either you're employed or you're self-employed. There's no third option. When you're employed by somebody else, do you have full freedom? Are there instances where your employer doesn't let you pray salah? Tells you can't go for Jum'ah? Why was your prayer break so long? Tells you interact in a certain way with the opposite gender, or interact in a certain way with a customer that you don't agree with. Take on a client that you don't agree with. Set up X service for that product, for this, and you don't agree with the service or the client or the product, but you're stuck. You're dependent. You have no choice. This is why one of the reasons building wealth is important. It gives you freedom to make choices without any constraints. One of the most beautiful examples in the Quran is Sulaiman alayhi salam. When the Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam sends a letter to the Queen of Sheba, to Bilqis, inviting her to Islam, inviting her to submit to Allah, the one and only God. She tries to bribe him with gifts. This queen, she sends a huge amount of gifts to Sulaiman alayhi salam. What's Sulaiman alayhi salam's response? قال أتمدونني بمال فما آتاني الله خير مما آتاكم. Are you trying to tempt me with money? What Allah gave me is better than what He gave you. Some scholars of tafsir interpreted this to mean, he says, what Allah gave me from Islam and revelation is better than these gifts. But other scholars interpreted it this way. Allah gave me more wealth than you. What you gave me is nothing. You sent me pennies. You think this is going to impress or sway me? I cannot be swayed by your wealth. I'm superior to you in wealth. بَلْ أَنْتُمْ بِهَدِيَّتِكُمْ تَفْرَحُونَ. Don't get too excited because of these trinkets that you sent me. I'm not impressed. Sulaiman alayhi salam cannot be bought. You know how they say everybody has a price? Yes? He cannot be bought. Why? He has wealth enough to make him independent. Nobody can own him. This is such an important reason to build wealth. The Prophet ﷺ says, الْيَدُ الْعُلْيَا خَيْرٌ مِّنَ الْيَدِ السُّفْلَى. The upper hand is better than the hand that gives is better than the hand that takes. Right? So anybody taking a paycheck is taking. But whoever is self-employed is paying, is employing. We should be the ones who are spending, who are giving, who are employing, who are the patrons, rather than the ones who are always living off and leeching off society. How many Muslims live on job seekers allowance, on universal credit? Those who live on these forms of allowance because of necessity, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about perfectly able people who have fully functional bodies, who have a brain and intelligence, who have time, but because the handouts from government are convenient, they continue to live on that, make some cash on the side, and continue to live off the state. This breeds a lazy people. This breeds a weak people. This breeds a dependent people. What kind of a people are we that we are leeching off others? As Muslims, we must be independent. We must be the ones funding the institutions, spending on society. We should be the ones saving the NHS. We shouldn't be the ones lining up outside the NHS. We should be the ones saying, oh, the NHS building needs repair. Collectively as a Muslim community, we have enough wealthy people. We will fund the NHS for you, Habibi. That's how we get izzah, dignity. That's how we get strength as a civilization. That's how we get confidence. That's how we get influence.